So let me give you a quiz. I'm going to throw some numbers at you. 1, 2, 800, 40, and 20. And I'd like you to think about what these numbers mean. The first one is 1 degree Celsius. This is roughly the temperature, the global average temperature rise from the pre-industrial level is about 1.2 degrees, but I've just made it to 1 degree. This is the global average temperature rise due to CO2 due to global warming. The next number is 2. It's 2 degrees Celsius. That is the Paris Agreement in 2015. And the agreement is, it was an acknowledgement of the problem. And the world agreed that they'll do whatever it can to keep the temperatures below, the global average temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius. The next number is 800. If the temperature needs to be kept below 2 degrees Celsius, we have a budget, a global budget of 800 billion tons of CO2 left, 800 gigatons of CO2. The next number is 40. This is the rate of CO2 emissions per year. It's 40 gigatons, 40 billion tons of CO2 per year, globally. The last number is 20. If you're emitting at 40 gigatons a year, and you got 800 gigatons of budget, we have 20 years left. That's the urgency of the problem. And while we talk about global averages, the averages don't matter as much. What matters is the distribution. I can say I can put my head in the refrigerator and put my legs in the microwave oven, and my average would be great, but the tails are in really bad shape. So it's important to understand what these tails mean. This is data from NASA over from the 50s and 60s of summer temperatures. Some summers are hotter, some summers are cooler. Cooler summers are blue, hotter summers are red. But over time, from the 50s and 60s to 70s and 80s and 90s and now, you find that distribution is going to the right. The probability of having extreme summers, extreme weather, is just increasing by a factor of 10 to 100 in many parts of the world. And this tail of the distribution has disproportionate effect on our economies, on our human life. And this is what you get to see in wildfires and droughts and flooding and coastal inundation and extreme heat. And this is only going to get worse. And this is why, even though we talk about 1 or 2 degrees, it is really a manifestation, a reflection on the tail of the distribution. So this is the problem that we are running into. And in COP26 in Glasgow, many countries made commitments. The United States made a commitment to become a net zero economy by 2050. China is in 2060, India is 2070, and you can go down the list. Japan is 2050, Germany 2045, and you can go down the list, and everyone made a commitment. And it's not only countries. More than 60% of the Fortune 500 companies have made climate commitments. And their aggregate annual revenue is $20 trillion, the size of the US economy. So nations have made commitments. Large businesses have made commitments. And if you ask the question, do they know how to get there to meet the commitments? The answer is no. No one really knows how to meet those commitments yet. So this is an amazing time in history where everyone is aligned to do something, but no one exactly knows how to go about doing it. And it is not just the large corporations and government. Consumers, especially the younger generation, have realized. This is some data on consumer demand on sustainable products. And 77% of the consumers are willing to pay a little bit of a premium for brands that offer clean products. These are Gen X, millennials, and Gen Zs. And it's not just in the United States or UK. This is global. And this is just Google searches on sustainable products. So we are somewhat of a tipping point. Let me end with a quote, an indigenous people's quote, and the quote goes as follows: "We do not inherit this earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. What we do today is really going to affect our children, grandchildren of the world in the future."